There's no question that COVID-19 has completely changed the workplace in America. So we're talking to Susan Lovegren, former Chief People Officer for Juniper Networks, Medallia, and App Dynamics. She's passionate about all things HR technology and recently became an advisor for Not Me, a disruptive digital solution that empowers employees to report their concerns. In this video, we ask Susan, what is the greatest challenge facing HR today?
If you think about basic policies you had in place for the work environment, the office, for schedules, for all kinds of things that would be related to how somebody comes into an organization and works. That context has been completely turned on its head. Right now, you've got the majority of people working from home, unless they're, of course, an essential worker. But in technology, you've got most people who are now working from home. And that context for working at home has completely shifted because there's all these generations of people working from home with all these different needs. One of the things I noticed early in the pandemic with some of the HR groups I'm a part of, there was a lot of discussion around, well, what are your work from home policies? What are your sort of procedural things? How are you going to hold people accountable? There was this real emphasis on being very structured around and almost sort of bureaucratic, I felt, as opposed to actually asking people, what do you need now that you're going to be potentially working from home for a period of time? What is going to allow you to be most productive? So when I said about the context changing, things like benefits, like a free lunch is no longer really part of the deal. Now, what you may want as a benefit as an employee is, I need help with teaching my high schooler physics. I have to homeschool now, and I need help with managing all of that. I need more support with childcare. I need more support with managing my own stress and being able to separate work from my personal life. Many early career stage people who are living in very consolidated apartment situations where they might have 4 or 5 roommates living in San Francisco, as an example, or New York City. They don't really have a ton of space to have a lot of privacy working from home. Acoustics management is more and more difficult for those folks, or just being cramped up all day and feeling just edgy by the time the day is through. So I think this notion of empathy and understanding is so critical as part of this whole COVID thing that initially I think there was a bit of folks being a little tone deaf. And so I think that's one piece that's changed. And I really do think the empathy has increased in a better understanding of people as humans, and that they all have stuff that they need to address and deal with. And the more we can support that, I think the more engagement and productivity you'll get. I think the other thing that's been so interesting to watch, and this is something I've observed more at the senior levels throughout my career, this notion around, can you really trust people to work from home? Are they honestly going to be working? And all of the research has shown, both the Bloom study, the Gallup just put something out that was pretty interesting. All of these studies show that productivity actually has increased. And ideally, the model is some sort of a hybrid model where you have some opportunity to come together and collaborate, and also you have this flexibility to stay and work from home. The number one benefit that has the highest perceived value is flexibility. You have some people going to school, people with children, commutes, and I think the more flexibility that they have, the better off they are, and the more loyal they are, if you will, to their employer. So I think some of the things that have, certainly been challenging have also, I think, resulted in a bit of a silver lining. And I think it's hopefully a better understanding, more empathy from leadership, more trust that you can trust these folks. They're adults. They're going to get their work done. They're going to be productive. They're going to meet their goals, and they would be managed the same way if they didn't meet their goals. So I think it's been kind of a eye-opening experience, especially for those who have had a more traditional viewpoint of just how people work and how people come together in the world of work.
Thank you, Susan. Don't miss our next video where we'll be asking Susan, what should organizations expect for their employees? Find more by visiting not-me.com.